Welcome, people of the World Wide Web. So it is Chris from Cypher Sigma Screen Time here, and it is the weekend, and it is the first movie review of 2026. So this will sit in my playlist of 2026 movies that I've seen. This movie was released, I think, Boxing Day or just before Christmas. So because it was released in 2025, I'm on the fence about including it in my movies to consider this year. It will sit in the playlist just because when I watched it, but there we go. I just wanted to clarify that. So yes, so this is Marty Supreme. So this is the latest movie from Timothée Chalamet. Obviously was released around Christmas time. Rated a 15 and plays for 2 hours and 29 minutes. There is nothing after the credits. As soon as the credits come on, you can leave. This is loosely based off of the ping pong player called Marty Reisman. We have this is directed by Josh Safdie, who did the Uncut Gems with his brother. And basically it's quite a fairly all-star cast that you see across the board. We have Timothée Chalamet as the main character, Marty Mouser. We have Odessa Eisen as Rachel Misler. We have Gwyneth Paltrow as Kay Stone, Kevin O'Leary as Milton Rockwell, and a load of small parts as well as Penn Gilletti from Penn and Teller. He plays a character called Hoff. So if you don't know what this is about or you've not seen the trailer, essentially this is about, I think it's about the 60s, where you have this up and coming lad who basically wants to be the best table tennis player in the world, but he's very much a wheeler and dealing because obviously he has to travel to these countries to do it and it costs a lot of money. He's working in his uncle's shoe shop, essentially selling to make money for it, and in between this he does some wheeling and dealing. Due to a set of events, his family aren't the greatest of support wise. He ends up kind of robbing the shoe shop, taking the money and going to the UK. This is where the tournament is being held, and essentially he plays in this tournament and gets to second place. He gets beaten by the Japanese player. In between this visit, he stumbles across Gwyneth Paltrow's character, who is an actress, was an actress back in the day. He takes a big befriending to her, and due to his wheeling and dealing, he kind of gets out of his accommodation and stays at the Ritz, mastering up a £1,500 debt while he's there. Also, why kind of interacting with Gwyneth Paltrow's husband, played by Kevin O'Leary, Milton Rockwell, who says pens, and there's kind of a link there. He's a little bit arrogant, a little bit up himself in a way. This loss, unfortunately, causes him to not get the money he wants. Due to the previous number one player that he beat, they then become this kind of traveling act like the Globetrotters that they do at all these events. And he travels around kind of making money wherever as he sees, and then he returns home to kind of recuperate, train a bit, and then go on to the championships, which I think are in Tokyo, where the previous player won. As he returns home, unfortunately, he is then arrested by his uncle's friend, who's a police officer, to basically take the money back, and he's very mistreating. Also, his childhood friend, Rachel Misler, who he was seeing at the very beginning, she is 8 months pregnant and he's been gone 8 months. You do the maths there, you know exactly what it is, but she's married to someone downstairs in the building where his mum lives and stuff. He kind of gets out, he kind of tries to run away because his uncle stole all of the money back that he took. He hasn't got enough money to get to Tokyo to do the final tournament he wants to kind of have this rematch. So there's a lot of him wheeling and dealing, trying to get money. Rachel comes back into the scene. He tries to help her out. She turns up with a black eye. He tries to help her out by other people that he's wheeled and dealed. And then basically it's a lot of things go wrong. His mate helps him out and they go stay at this place. And there's a incident where a bathtub falls through a ceiling and he helps this mobster with a dog. Or helps mobster with a dog and loses the dog in between getting a load of money. Unfortunately, they lose the dog and then they try and use the dog as a bargaining chip to go back there and stuff. And there's all these wheeling and dealing going across and he's always trying to do it. And essentially it culminates to he doesn't have the best of luck. He gets to the point where he was given an offer from Milton Rockwell after his loss to be kind of a token match to go over there to lose to the Japanese one and supply pens. He threw this offer away. He then comes back and begs for it in the process of Milton ends up paddling him in front of his friends. He then goes back to the tournament, or goes back to Tokyo, where the World Championships are also being handled. He basically lines up for this exhibition match. While he is there, obviously this 1,500 debt is still in place, so he cannot play in the tournament. He sees one of the officials that he spoke to in the first place, and the official basically doesn't like the fact of his attitude and stuff and will not let him play in the tournament. This kind of then has Marty at a very low. He keeps getting pushed back in the queue, waiting to play this exhibition match because no one realizes him yet. Because obviously this guy who beat him from Tokyo is basically like this, regarded by thousands of people. As it gets to it, the match happens. People are quite excited by it, and then unfortunately he loses by I think 3 or 4 points. In between this, the bet is basically that he has to kiss a pig. As he can kind of see, there are a lot of the crowd are quite enjoying the match, but there are a lot of characters around who basically seeing him, be the joke and stuff like this, and he feels that he deserves more. His ambition throughout all of his movies is to be the number one player, and he'll do whatever he can to get there. He plays officially, but obviously get the money and something. This is where he does the wheeling and the dealing and stuff like this. He goes, and just before he goes, has to go to kiss the pig and then bring the pig out. He goes to the number one player and says, like, this is a charade. This is I was made to basically, let's have a proper match. Let's see everybody that we should play it and play a proper match. The champion agrees. So they kind of all line up. You have all these Japanese people, and then you have the army people from America as well cheering, and you can see the crowd are behind it. And then this match starts. As this match starts, Rockwell comes on because he has paid the money for him to come over there to get him to the tournament and stuff like this. And he's basically like, you do this and I'm going to ruin you, and this is going to be the end of it. And Miles is like, I don't care. I've come here to do one thing. I want to play the champion and I want to try and beat him. And this is what this match culminates to. It culminates to a very much back and forth. At the very end, he beats him by 2 points. Most of the crowd are in awe. Obviously, the Americans are very happy in that. And then basically because he's done that, he kind of has this epiphany moment of where he's reached the target that he needs to. Obviously, the bloke, Rockwell, who brought him out there, won't support him or anything. He manages to sneak back on a plane with a load of army people, gets back to America where Rachel has given birth. And then basically he goes and visits his son. And it's kind of like his personal goal has been done. He ticks it off. Now he can go home and be a proper husband, even though Rachel is with a husband, she's got to get divorced and stuff like that. But yeah, he can be a proper parent to his child and be a proper person because his goal that he wanted in life is now achieved. And it's very kind of heartwarming at the very end. And what do I rate this movie? I rate this 7.2 out of 10. It was a really, really good movie. Particularly the music score on it was amazing. It just had a lot of feels for the music of the time and the music of a little bit of time afterwards. The acting is very done well. There are a lot of twists and turns. As I say, he's not an enjoyable, likable character for a lot of it. He just has this personal goal, and it's basically screw everyone else, and he does screw everyone else quite a bit. He promises them stuff, and no one ever gets their kind of just desserts or rewards from this. But leading on to it, this kind of, because he's so young and stuff like this and everything, and you can kind of understand of when he has his passion, this is what he wants to do. And maybe at the time that's what you have to do, and you have to be a bit arrogant and kind of, he had the skills to back it up, but yeah, I really, really, as I say, I really enjoyed it, really well acted and stuff like that. So I probably will pick this up, and stuff like that. And I think Timothée Chalamet definitely, I've heard that it might be Oscar buzz for him. I mean, to be honest, this movie, like the sounding and how it was acting and everything else, was done really well. I mean, as I say, there's Penn Jillette. He finds the gangster's dog that he ends up looking after at one point, and I didn't even realise it was kind of him. And there's a lot of people do a lot of good roles and stuff like this. It is well executed and put together movie. And as I say, the music is the standout thing. The acting's really good, but the music was above par. But that has been Marty Supreme. Have you seen this movie? Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. If you haven't, I would appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, I've been Chris from Screen Time, and I'll definitely see you in the next one.